Hey, what's this about? I was just reaching for my parking receipt. Yeah, right. I know that you were probably reaching for a weapon. You think I don't know what your kind actually gets up to? Do you honestly think I would believe some stupid lie about your sick mama? Thugs like you think you can get away with anything. You just whine and lie and then make the world a worse place. But hey, what's this? Looks like you have some drugs on you. To my horror, the officer dropped a bag of something next to my head. I'm not doing anything. I don't know what that is, but it isn't mine. But before I could finish, I felt a sharp pain in my side as his fist connected with my hip. I shouted, trying to turn, but he punched again, this time harder, and my legs buckled under the pressure. Stop resisting, he yelled, though I wasn't moving, nor was I even trying to fight back. All I could do was lay there, face down on the hard asphalt, too stunned to do anything other than put my arms around my head to try to protect myself. By the time he stopped hitting me, I could barely breathe, let alone stand. The next thing I remember, I was in the hospital, nurses and doctors surrounding me, their faces tight with worry and pity. My hip was shattered. They said it would take months to recover, that I might never walk the same again. They were right. The damage was done. My name is Harold Adams. I never thought I'd be telling a story like this. I was raised to respect authority, to believe that if you kept your head down, treated people right, you'd be okay. My mama used to say, "Son, just walk straight and mind your business." I did my best to live by that. I had a steady job, paid my bills, took care of my family. But sadly in this world, sometimes that's not enough. Over the years, I've had my share of run-ins with the police, just from walking down the street or driving through town. Some of those cops looked at me like I was guilty of something just for existing. I remember one time, I was pulled over on my way home from work, and the officer asked if I had done anything illegal. No reason, no explanation, just suspicion hanging in the air. "No, sir," I'd said, trying to keep my voice steady. He'd let me go, but I was left with a knot in my stomach and a reminder that I was never really safe. There were just too many racist people out there in the world that didn't see Harold. They saw a dangerous black man. There were times when I would grow extremely annoyed at that thought. But as the years went by, I realized that I couldn't change the mind of everyone in the world. All I could do was be a good person and just try to avoid such situations as much as possible. I felt powerless to do anything else. At least that's how I felt until my life changed dramatically. One late August night, when I was driving home, tired after visiting my mother in the hospital. She just had surgery, and all I wanted was to get home, take a shower, and pray she'd make a strong recovery. As I was merging onto the freeway, I saw flashing blue and red lights in my rearview mirror. I hadn't done anything wrong. I checked my speed, kept my hands at 10 and 2, stayed in my lane. "Pull over." I heard a voice on a loudspeaker order me, so I did, heart thumping as I slowed to a stop on the shoulder. The officer stomped up to my window, flashlight glaring into my eyes. "License and registration." He barked, barely looking at me as he snatched my ID from my hand. His name tag read, Donnelly Donnelly. He was tall, muscular, with eyes that didn't just look at you, they cut through you. There was something about the way he stared that made my skin crawl. "Officer, is there something wrong?" "Yes, something is wrong. There was a burglary just down the road a short time ago, and the suspect was black. And now I see you driving here, so what are you doing out here?" "Is that all the description that you have to go on?" "Yes, I'm black, but I didn't rob a store. I'm just driving home, sir. I was just visiting my mother in the hospital." "Is that so? I usually don't see people like you in this neighborhood. Seems rather suspicious. Maybe I should search your car and make sure you don't have any stolen items inside. You sure you aren't lying to me?" "No, sir. It's the truth. I didn't rob anyone. I am just coming from the hospital." "You wouldn't be the first person to lie to me. Step out of the vehicle." He looked me up and down. I felt like he had already decided that I wasn't trustworthy. I opened my door, confused and getting nervous now. It was at that moment that I did something stupid. I figured that I should reach into my pocket and pull out the slip that I had been given so I could park in the hospital parking garage. It showed when I left the hospital, and I knew that if he saw it, that he would believe me. But no. As soon as he saw me reaching for my pocket, he grabbed my arm, twisted it behind my back, and shoved me face first against my car. Hey, what's this about? I was just reaching for my parking receipt. Yeah, right. I know that you were probably reaching for a weapon. You think I don't know what your kind actually gets up to? Do you honestly think I would believe some stupid lie about your sick mama? Thugs like you think you can get away with anything. You just whine and lie and then make the world a worse place. But hey, what's this? Looks like you have some drugs on you. To my horror, the officer dropped a bag of something next to my head. I'm not doing anything. I don't know what that is, but it isn't mine. But before I could finish, I felt a sharp pain in my side as his fist connected with my hip. I shouted, trying to turn, but he punched again, this time harder, and my legs buckled under the pressure. Stop resisting, he yelled, though I wasn't moving, nor was I even trying to fight back. All I could do was lay there, face down on the hard asphalt, too stunned to do anything other than put my arms around my head to try to protect myself. By the time he stopped hitting me, I could barely breathe, let alone stand. The next thing I remember, I was in the hospital, nurses and doctors surrounding me, their faces tight with worry and pity. My hip was shattered. They said it would take months to recover, that I might never walk the same again. They were right. The damage was done. Once I was in the recovery ward, I was informed that the police would be coming to question me. As it turned out, Donnelly had planted drugs on me, and since it was my word against his, and he was a cop, the other police officers believed him. I was let off with a couple thousand hours of community service, even though I was innocent. And Donnelly was hailed as a hero for making yet another arrest and keeping the streets clean. He was well on his way to being promoted as a top cop for ridding the streets of dealers. After weeks of surgery and the start of what felt like endless hours of physical therapy, I finally started to make it to my sessions on my own, without having to rely on help from other people. I, of course, still had to use a walker, but I was beginning to feel independent again, which also meant that I would need to start my hours of community service. The physical therapists did their best, but every step was a reminder of what had happened. One day, I overheard a couple of other patients talking. I caught my breath when I heard the name Donnelly. You talking about Officer Donnelly?
Yeah, that's him. That man's ruined more than a few lives. Left my cousin with a busted jaw 2 months ago. Got off with barely a slap on the wrist. He gets away with everything.
My brother was just walking down the road and Donnelly pulled up, and after some heated words cracked him over the head with his nightstick. He got a severe concussion from it. The guy is a menace. How many people has he hurt?
Dozens over the years. People have tried to complain, but they never have proof, and then it's their word against his.
Yeah, and the police force won't do anything. You know how it is. No matter how racist or dangerous a cop is, they get to keep their job unless you come forth with concrete proof that they are a danger. Hearing that lit something inside me. For weeks, I'd buried the anger, tried to push past it, but it came back full force that day. I realized I couldn't let this go. I'd fought to stay on the straight and narrow all my life, but I couldn't live with the thought of him doing this to someone else. And to know that there were so many other people that he had hurt too. I needed to expose him. So I contacted the local news. They were sympathetic, horrified even, and after some back and forth, we devised a plan. Together, we would set up a sting operation to catch him in the act. The day we set it up was a tense one. We'd found someone willing to play the role of an innocent bystander who'd be pulled over by Donnelly. The cameras were in place, hidden in plain sight, and all we could do was wait. The actor that was to be the victim was set up in a van in a very prominent place on the side of the road along Donnelly's typical route. The actor, who was black, had a hidden body camera as well as recording equipment, so we would hear and see everything. Sure enough, Officer Donnelly drove up, flashing his lights at our setup driver. After only a few minutes of Donnelly interrogating the driver, he pulled him out of the car, then began getting rough, pushing him against the car with that same look in his eyes I remembered. Suddenly, he punched the driver in the stomach, and when the man doubled over in pain, Donnelly reached into his back pocket and pulled out a Ziploc bag full of a white powder, which he dropped into the driver's car. Isn't that interesting? Looks like you have cocaine on you. No wonder you were acting suspicious. Just then, Donnelly's hand went to his baton, and he started to hit the driver with it while demanding that he stop resisting arrest. Seeing this, we stepped out from behind a parked van in an attempt to stop him from seriously hurting the man. "Donnelly, it's over. We've got it all on tape. We've been filming you since you walked up to the car." He froze, his eyes darting to me and then to the news crew behind me, panic flooding his face. "What? What is this? What are you talking about?" "You're done. We saw you hit him without just cause, and then we saw you plant drugs on him just like you did to me and probably countless other people too. All those people you hurt, all the lives you ruined. It's time you answered for it. We got all the evidence we will need to help those of us that you've wronged. The police department can't ignore the recordings that they captured here today." He looked around, saw the cameras, and grew terrified and bolted. He jumped in his cruiser and sped off. I almost laughed, knowing he couldn't outrun the truth, and that once the story was shown to the public, that he would no doubt be arrested by his fellow officers from the same police department. But then, before he had gotten very far, in his haste, he took a corner too hard. We heard the screech of tires, then a sickening crash as his car hit a concrete barrier. We of course called for paramedics. The last I saw of Officer Donnelly was him being wheeled out of the wreck, his legs mangled beyond repair, a look of shock and terror on his face. Once he was released from the hospital, he was charged with multiple counts of police brutality, lost his job, and was sent to prison. The news crew ran his story for weeks, which made sure that the jury that was assigned to his case were very familiar just how much of a monster he was. For years, he'd used his authority to ruin lives, but in the end, justice caught up to him. They say he'll never walk again, which is rather fitting since so many people that he wronged are now permanently crippled because of his rage and racism. I wasn't done though. I sued the police department, determined to hold them accountable. They tried to brush it under the rug, but with all the public attention along with the news crew's footage, they couldn't hide their culpability. They settled, hoping to save some face in the public's opinion. They ended up giving me quite a bit of money. At that moment, I made a decision I'd never expected. I went to law school. While there, I was given an option to visit the local prison where Donnelly was being held, and I enjoyed seeing him in a prison uniform. Not only that, but I met a few of the guards that watched him. One of them was a man that Donnelly had falsely accused of smuggling drugs, and after his conviction was overturned, he became a prison guard. He promised me that he routinely makes sure that Donnelly's cell is free of contraband. Judging by the black eye and bruises that Donnelly had on his face, I think the guard finds something in Donnelly's cell fairly often. Now, years later, I'm back in that courtroom, representing people who've been unfairly accused, standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves. I'll never walk without this walker, but every time I limp up to the bench, I remember what I went through, what so many go through, and I know that this is what I was meant to do. I've become a voice for justice, a defender of those who need it most. I'm exactly where I am supposed to be, and so is Donnelly. Thanks for watching.
And we thought Mom was just trying to comfort her. But as the years passed, it became clear that this wasn't just a phase. By the time Emma was 6, she had the entire household wrapped around her little finger. If she wanted a new dress, she got it. If she wanted to skip school for the day, my mother would let her. Meanwhile, Angela and I were expected to keep up our grades, help with chores, and, as my mother often said, set a good example for your little sister. Emma was also trying to control us. It started with little things. One time, Angela and I were playing with an old teddy bear in the living room when Emma came in and demanded to play with it.
"I want the teddy bear. Give it to me now."
I told her she could join us, but she didn't want to share. Instead, she screamed and stomped her feet until my mother rushed in.
"What's going on here?"
"They won't let me play with the teddy bear."
Angela tried to explain that we were already playing with it, but my mother didn't want to hear it.
"Just let her have it. You two are older, you should know better."
We reluctantly handed the teddy bear over, watching as Emma smirked and stuck out her tongue at us. Our father's death changed everything. I was 10 at the time, my sister Angela was 8, and little sister Emma was just 4. Life before that had been perfect, or at least it felt that way. My father was a wealthy businessman, and though he was often busy, he always made time for us. He would bring home toys from his travels, take us out for fancy dinners, and make us feel like princesses. We were a happy family. But when he passed away, it felt like the light went out of our house. My mother was devastated. She threw herself into managing the family business, saying it was the only way to keep his legacy alive. And while Angela and I grieved quietly, Emma became the center of her world. At first, it made sense. Emma was so young when Dad died, barely old enough to understand what was happening. She cried the loudest at his funeral and clung to our mother like her life depended on it. My mother, perhaps out of guilt or desperation, focused all her energy on Emma. She held her close, bought her the best toys, and let her sleep in her bed at night. Angela and I didn't think much of it back then. After all, Emma was the baby of the family, and we thought Mom was just trying to comfort her. But as the years passed, it became clear that this wasn't just a phase. By the time Emma was 6, she had the entire household wrapped around her little finger. If she wanted a new dress, she got it. If she wanted to skip school for the day, my mother would let her. Meanwhile, Angela and I were expected to keep up our grades, help with chores, and, as my mother often said, set a good example for your little sister. Emma was also trying to control us. It started with little things. One time, Angela and I were playing with an old teddy bear in the living room when Emma came in and demanded to play with it.
I want the teddy bear. Give it to me now.
I told her she could join us, but she didn't want to share. Instead, she screamed and stomped her feet until my mother rushed in.
What's going on here?
They won't let me play with the teddy bear.
Angela tried to explain that we were already playing with it, but my mother didn't want to hear it.
Just let her have it. You two are older, you should know better.
We reluctantly handed the teddy bear over, watching as Emma smirked and stuck out her tongue at us. By the time Emma was 8, the favoritism had become undeniable. She had a room filled with expensive toys and gadgets, while Angela and I had to share old ones. If we ever complained, my mother would dismiss us.
Emma's younger, she needs more attention. Quit being childish.
It wasn't just about the material things. It was the way our mother treated her, the way she spoke to her with warmth and affection while being stern and demanding with us. If Emma made a mess, it was cute. If Angela or I made a mistake, it was a lecture about responsibility and gratitude. The disparity became even more glaring during family trips. On Emma's 10th birthday, my mother organized a lavish party, while Angela and I simply received casual wishes from her. One evening, Angela and I were sitting in our room, talking about the unfairness of it all.
I don't get it. Why does she love Emma more?
Do you think we should ask her? Maybe she can't see what we see. Angela didn't agree. She was so sad.
Sometimes I feel like we don't even exist to her.
I didn't know how to respond to that because deep down I felt the same way. Emma, meanwhile, seemed to revel in the attention. She became more demanding, more spoiled, and, worst of all, more manipulative. She quickly learned that she could do no wrong in our mother's eyes, and she used it to her advantage. Once, Angela caught Emma sneaking into her room and taking her favorite bracelet, a gift from our father. When Angela confronted her, Emma denied it.
I know you took it, Emma. Give it back.
I didn't take anything. You're just jealous because Mom likes me better.
I don't care. Give me back the necklace now.
I won't. What are you gonna do about it?
Angela and Emma ended up screaming at each other until my mother came in.
What's all this noise about?
Angela's yelling at me for no reason.
No, I'm not. Mom, she took my bracelet. The one Dad gave me.
Emma wouldn't do that. Stop blaming her for your carelessness, Angela.
Angela stormed out of the room in tears. I also cried to sleep because it was unfair. The favoritism didn't just hurt us emotionally, it began to affect our relationship with Emma. She became someone we couldn't trust, someone who would lie, steal, and manipulate to get her way. And the worst part was that she always got away with it. By the time we were teenagers, Angela and I had grown resentful. Not just of Emma, but of our mother as well. It was clear that no matter what we did, we would never measure up to Emma in her eyes. We stopped trying to seek her approval and started relying on each other for support. One night, after yet another argument with our mother over something Emma had lied about, Angela looked at me with so much determination in her eyes.
We have to do something. This has gone on long enough. We can't let it continue.
What can we do? She always believes Emma.
Then we'll make her see the truth.
Angela and I weren't used to scheming, but we were desperate. We couldn't take Emma's manipulation and lies anymore. Our first plan was simple. We only wanted to catch her red-handed. Emma had a habit of sneaking into our rooms and taking things without asking, so we decided to bait her. Angela placed her favorite necklace, which was another gift from our father, on her desk and left the drawer slightly ajar. I set up my phone across the room, hidden behind some books, to record the moment Emma walked in. Angela and I waited outside, pretending to be busy in the living room. It didn't take long. Emma, thinking we were distracted, slipped into Angela's room. Then she emerged a few minutes later, holding the necklace. We were ecstatic. Finally, we had proof. Or so we thought. When our mom returned home that night, we played the video for her, thinking it would finally open her eyes. But Emma was clever. Too clever. She burst into tears the moment the footage ended.
Then I was just putting it back. Angela told me I could borrow it, but then she got mad and set me up.
Angela's jaw dropped in shock.
That's not true. She's lying. Mom, don't believe her.
But Emma's performance was flawless. She sobbed uncontrollably, clutching the necklace as if it was her lifeline. My mother, who always had a soft spot for Emma's tears, turned on us immediately.
How could you two do something so cruel? Setting up your little sister like that? You should be ashamed.
We were grounded for a week, forbidden from using our phones or leaving the house. Emma, meanwhile, walked away with the necklace and a triumphant smirk. If we thought her behavior was bad before, it became unbearable after that. Emma seemed to thrive on our frustration. She started lying about us at school, telling teachers that Angela and I were bullying her. We were called into the principal's office multiple times, forced to defend ourselves against accusations that Emma made up. At home, she continued her games, planting stolen items in our rooms and claiming we took them from her. The worst part was watching our mother continue to believe her. Angela and I felt powerless, like we were losing a battle we never asked to fight. At some point, we both resigned to our fates and started growing numb to her antics, believing she would never change. But fate had other plans. One day, we heard a knock, and when I checked, I saw our neighbor holding Emma's arm. The woman looked furious. I quickly called my mom.
I caught your daughter trying to steal money from my house. She broke into our home and was attempting to break into the safe but got electrocuted. She had no idea the safe was electrified, so she got shocked and passed out. You're lucky I found her when I did. Keep your thief out of my sight, okay?
Emma's face was pale, her left hand swollen and bandaged. Our mother quickly apologized to the woman.
I'm so sorry. I'll handle this immediately.
She rushed Emma to the hospital where the doctors confirmed minor nerve damage to her hand. She had to be admitted for treatment. When Emma returned to school 3 weeks later, her reputation was already in tatters. Those at school knew the reason she missed all those weeks, and mocked her for it. Even worse, missing exams meant she had to take them alone. She struggled, and when the results came back, she failed most of them. Emma's pride couldn't handle it. 2 weeks after her return, disaster struck again. Late one night, the school security guards caught her in the principal's office. She had been trying to hack into the system to change her grades. The guards dragged her to their quarters, where they held her overnight. The next morning, my mother was summoned to the school. Angela and I tagged along.
Your daughter has crossed every line. First theft, now breaking into school property to falsify grades. She's a disgrace, and I won't tolerate this behavior. She can continue attending school until this week is over. Then she will resume her punishment, which is a 2-week suspension.
The principal's words were brutal, and our mother's face burned with shame. Emma stood there with head bowed. For once, she had no excuse. When we got home, our mother finally snapped.
Go to your room, Emma. I'm going to teach you a lesson you'll never forget. How can you disgrace me like this after all I've done for you?
Emma didn't want to leave. So our mom grabbed a cane and began marching toward her. That's when Angela and I stepped in.
Stop, Mom! You can't do this!
Why not? Look at what she's become.
Well, she's your creation. This is what happens when you spoil someone rotten and let them get away with everything.
You gave her everything she wanted while ignoring us. Now her life is spiraling, and it's your fault. If you don't stop, it'll only get worse.
our mother seemed to be overwhelmed. I watched as she sank into the couch and buried her face in her palms.
I thought I was helping her. After your father died, I just wanted to protect her. She was so young. I didn't want her to feel unloved.
And what about us? We lost Dad too, but you forgot we existed.
For the first time, our mother seemed to understand the damage she'd done.
I'm so sorry, girls. I've failed you all. Emma, I've done you no favors by spoiling you. It's time for things to change. You owe your sisters and everyone else an apology.
Emma looked at us with so much guilt on her face.
I'm sorry for how I've wronged you both. Please, forgive me.
No, we didn't forgive her immediately, but at least we received an apology. The next day, at the order of the principal, Emma stood in front of the entire school and confessed to her crime. She admitted everything and apologized. The humiliation was heavy, but the principal didn't care. At home, our mother started setting boundaries for Emma. No more special treatment, no more excuses. For the first time in years, she treated all three of us equally. Emma's attitude changed gradually. She started helping around the house and actually listening to us. Angela and I were wary at first, but over time, we began to believe in her sincerity. For the first time, our family felt like a team, and I couldn't have been more grateful to the universe for intervening. Thanks for watching.